All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's around 4 p.m. here in Tallahassee, Florida. So, I'm discuss a very important topic today: the age limit for scholarship, MSc and PhD scholarship opportunities in the US. I've had a lot of people ask me different questions about age limit for scholarships in the US, and I'll be addressing it today. I'll also be addressing it from the point of view of the visa official, because eventually, whether you get funding, whether you get scholarship or not, whether you get um, admitted or not, you will still definitely have to do visa interview in your home country. So this issue of age is very important, and I understand why a lot of people have been asking questions about that. Ernest, I see you. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. It's been a while. Yeah. I've been on and off. Yeah, but nice having you here today. All right. So first and foremost, let me give a little background. Many scholarships all around the world usually put an age limit for those who apply for their scholarship. For example, there are some scholarships they say for you to be able to apply for the master's scholarship, the MSc scholarship, you must be less than 30 years old. Okay, so there are some scholarships like that. The masters, they say you must be less than 30 years old. Then some say, oh, for PhD, you must be less than 35 years old. That's just generally around the world. Okay, we have that. And then this has created a notion in a lot of people to think, okay, in the US, there should be an equivalent of that. And I will explain. It's not entirely so. Okay, in fact, it's not so. Why? Because in the US, many of the scholarships that we talk about, scholarships in code, are assistantships that are awarded by the schools themselves. Okay, so we have over 3,000 schools in the US, for example. Each of the schools award scholarship, they award assistantships. And what are assistantships? Your tuition is taken care of, and then you serve as a teaching assistant or research assistant to the school or to the department, as the case may be. And then you offer some services and you are paid for that services. Okay, so usually for many schools, for most schools, there is no age limit attached to that. But don't jump here, I'll explain. There is no age limit attached to that. So that means it's possible you can be however years old and then you apply, and then you apply to the school and then you get your offer. And then your age is not brought into consideration. Is not no questions are asked about your age. However, you must know that those who are interviewing you, those who will read through your what do you call it, SOP, those who will go through your materials, they can, even though it's not compulsory, not even compulsory to write your age, to put your age in your CV. It's not really necessary to. Okay, people don't, here in the US, it's in Nigeria that you put age, you put what do you call it, number of children, blah 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 in your CV. Here in the US, not necessarily. Okay, depending on what you're applying for anyway, especially. But when it comes to academic, people don't really put, because you're applying to schools, right? People don't really put age. It's not what they are interested in. Okay, so they don't even care about your age at that level. They don't even, let me use the word, they don't know your age. I don't want to use the word they don't care about your age, but let me use the word they don't even know your age. That's not even the main thing. They just want to focus on your skills, your experiences, and then see, is this person fit for admission or not. Okay, now I will talk about undergraduate. Now this is at the level of masters and PhD. Okay, now, but you must know that those who are interviewing you are humans. It's possible that they see in your CV, or they see in your statement of purpose, and they say that, oh, this person graduated, he had his BSc in, let's say, 1996. Oh, that's outrageous. Okay, let me just say 2010. Okay, now you will definitely catch attention because this is 2024. That's 14 years after. Now, the person reviewing this will be eager to see what has this person been doing over time. Okay, that is where the problem can be many times, because some people believe this they say it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. Okay, some of these professors believe that actually. So they want to see what have you been doing along the line, 14 good years. Okay, so if you are still in line, let's say teaching your field, let's say doing things, and it's 14 good year, you are still doing research, your CV shows that you are still connected somehow. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people that have been admitted that way. People who are over 40 admitted for MSc, for PhD. I've seen a lot of people admitted that way, over 40, some going towards 50, and they get admission. Okay, I've seen those scenarios happen. Okay, so it's at the discretion of those who are trying to bring you in, and they'll say, oh, should we take this person? What has this person been doing over time? In fact, I used to have a colleague in the lab where I am. I think she was 1 year older than me or something, or 2 years older than me. I mean, people who are really old. I mean, I came in at 27, of course, so not so old, but I've seen people who who are 40 plus, and they came in and they are doing fine. Okay, so what you've been doing over time will come to speak for you. We come to speak for you. And when you go for visa interview too, it's possible, especially if you meet a difficult visa official, a difficult VO, they can raise such issues about your age, like why are you just going for your MSc now? You must have an answer ready for all this. Okay. So generally in the US for graduate studies, age is not a barrier. Okay, age is not a barrier. But I will tell you something else now that seem to imply that some people are taking age as an issue. Okay, I was discussing with someone. They were looking at the person. They were looking at. No, I want to be as discreet as possible. Let me just say the person, the professor somewhere. They were looking at applications of students from different countries from all over the world. Okay, and then they have really some young students with knowledge of programming, blah blah. And they have other students who have finished BSc since, I mean, for a very long time, and then they are just coming for PhD, even though the person had masters and the likes. And we're just talking about, okay, suitable candidate, blah blah blah, and the person just chipped in, just innocently, to show something that looks like there is a preference for those who are still young. Okay, the person just chipped it in. It's not a law, it's not anything, but the person just chipped it in casually, like, oh, these ones are still just coming out alt, they still have all these skills they are doing, and then compared to someone who is stiff already, cannot be molded, just casually. Now that doesn't mean that there is a law against it. Now, even though at that point I kicked against it and said, does this not sound like ageism? Like you are using age to segregate people? And the person said, no, 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 no. It's just a way of measuring how they can perform well, what they know. Of course, if you have someone who is old and the CV is very rich, they are admitting the person. I'm telling you, they are dragging the person in straight away if the CV is rich. So it all still boils down to the CV. What have you been doing over time? Okay, what have you been doing over time? What experiences do you have? Now, it will be difficult if someone is, let's say, 45 years old, for example. The person left university in 2010. The person did not do a master's, did not upgrade. The person has been in the trading, has been doing trading, for example, all these past 14 years. The person has been doing no special skills, no programming language skill, no this and that skill, and then it's just that BSc at 2010, and then boom, that was a cut off in development. It will be difficult for such a person to get in compared to someone, let's say the person finished in 2022, for example, or 2023, last year or 2 years ago, and that is the same cutoff, because this person still has a lot of time. This person just finished, is not under obligation, or let me not use under obligation, is not had enough years to say, does this person have passion for this field? Okay, so Mr. Emmanuel, I salute you. Sir Emmanuel Uchena, I greet you. I greet you. So we don't have enough time to judge and say, oh, this person does not have passion for this field. That's why he's not doing anything related to the field over these past few years. Okay. So depending on your age, what I usually advise people is this: you are old already. Okay, this is what you can do. Show in your CV, in your SOP, that you've been active in the field. Okay, show it in your CV, show it in your SOP that you've been active in the field and then you are passionate about the field. You want to really, really prove it. You want to really, really, of course, everybody will have to prove it. But for someone who has finished a long time, you just want to see your track record. What have you been doing over time? Now, let me come to undergraduate and extrapolate and talk about graduate school again. Now, for undergraduates, I read an article recently. It happened in a school here in the US. Let me try and find the name of the school. It involved some Ghanaian students, and then it even involved jail time and the likes. Ghanaian, my Ghanaian people. It involved Ghanaian students, and then it involved jail time, age, US. Let me type Ghanaian age, US school jail students. Okay, so this is what actually happened. So for some Ghanaian students, okay, this is the news here um, on YouTube here. This is the news on YouTube. It's on YouTalk. Is everywhere. Okay. Lehigh University. It happened in September, just September of this year. Lehigh University. I think it's in Wisconsin or something. Uh, so it happened. This is the way the case started. This guy applied to a school. He's a Ghanaian. He applied to a school. I remember I've always been talking about not applying to community colleges and the likes. Just be careful when doing that. I've talked about that. If you've seen some of my videos, I've talked about that over and over and over again. So this it happened that this student applied to this school, the I University, and then the first thing that caught their attention was the I University is a community college. Okay, it's like a community college, a 4-year university, I think. Either 4 year or 2 years old. But this guy applied, and then what caught the attention of those who were there, it was that was applying for a BSc, but he's 25 years old. Okay, so it caught their attention like this person is old, and they felt, or maybe this person is trying to use it as an opportunity to move. I mean, okay, so eventually they uh they tried to step down the application, I think. But before stepping it down, they started looking at the transcript. They started looking at the application document and discovered that the transcripts seemed to be fake. Okay, so when they discovered that transcripts seemed to be fake, then they continued to search in their record and they found out there are 4 more Ghanaians who had graduated from that school, either who had graduated or still in that school. Okay, and then they went through their application documents and found inconsistencies with their transcript. Okay, and they found inconsistencies with their transcript, and that was how the whole case started. And then the student got arrested. It's a big thing. In fact, let me read the story here. According to this, they said Bethlehem in school is in Pennsylvania. It says 4 international high university students have been arrested and expelled, accused of faking transcripts to get into the school. It says their name, Evans, upon blah blah. 4 names are facing forgery and theft of services charge. And affidavit says that one of their brothers was recently admitted to the school, but his age raised alarms, prompting university officials to take a look closer at his application. They said his transcript had concerning format, markings, and spelling errors, leading them to question its validity and rescind the admission. Okay, court paperwork says the school then looked back at 4 student applications who mentioned each other within them. Police says with the help of U.S. Department of State, university discovered more fake transcripts. The four had each already received anywhere from 120,000 to 212,000 in financial aid. Lehigh released a statement saying fraud impacts the integrity of the admission process, and if left unaddressed, the university ability to create opportunities for blah 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 blah. Now, it's still an issue that they are still trying to fight in court. But what's my point here? What raised an alarm is the age. The guy is 25 years old. So when they saw someone who is 25 years old trying to apply for an undergraduate program, an international student, they felt maybe this person is trying to move. They checked closely, they looked at the transcript, and then they found errors. I mean, errors. We don't know if it's now probably what their defense in court will be, their errors from the school or whatever. But they found errors and they felt these are fake transcripts. Okay. And then they looked closely and saw four more students who are Ghanaians. And then they charged them to court. Like now they took them to jail. Those guys literally slept in jail. I don't know if they've been bailed out for now pending the hearing of the case and all, but it's a big issue. The age triggered this. Now, the way the US is going, I'm sensing that very soon some people will start doing that for graduate studies too. Because I've had someone tell me that they had issues with transcripts coming from countries like Nigeria, Ghana, blah, 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 blah. And then, at the point I was there to try and defend Nigerians because I know a lot of things that happen while trying to get our transcript and the likes, that even when there are errors, you don't even want to go and correct it again because I mean, it's so difficult to even get your transcript in the first place. But these are things that are happening now. Age can trigger some of these things. Okay, so in your CV, in your SOP, you want to be sure that when you are above many times above 30 or maybe 35, 40, you want to make sure that there is no gap like that in your CV. You want to make sure that you put everything in place. You want to make sure you put everything in place. Remember where I started from was that there are some scholarships around the world that when you are above 30, you cannot apply for the MSc program. When you are above 35, you cannot apply for the PhD program. Okay, but US, there is no such requirement. However, people take a look at things closely. They take a look at things closely. And when you get to the embassy, of course, they have your age, they have everything. Those ones may ask, they have the liberty of asking more questions like, why are you going at this point, blah, blah, blah. It's just being able to explain things and then make sure you have things you have been doing and you are good. Okay, that will solve it. Yeah, Ayobanjo, you are saying it will be a blessing if I can grant you 15 minutes to give direction of what your credentials can get you and how to. If you can type it here, I can give you the time here and talk to you about it here. That's a possibility. If Ayobanjo, yeah, you can talk about it here. Ben, how's it going? Please, I got a niece who studied education accountancy in Nigeria. What's your advice? Is it possible to get her a scholarship? If the person studied accountancy education, let's say education generally, there are funding in different education departments in the US. Yes, it's possible to get funding. A lot of people are getting it. I know those who are in the education business and then they are getting funding in education. So that's very possible. Let the person just search. I made a video on how to search for scholarships, uh, search for the video on this YouTube channel, how to search for scholarship for your course of study. So the person can watch the video, you will understand perfect because I demonstrated with tough courses like fine arts and those stuffs that people think there are no funding for. And then I showed how you can find funding in those fields. So this your niece can also find funding in education, and it's possible even in accountancy too. There are some finance courses where you can find funding too. Is a very big possibility. It's a very big possibility. So yeah, your niece she can get scholarships in the United States. All right. Then if you're gonna, uh, I mean, Ayobanjo, if you're gonna talk to me, I can give you the guidance here. Just tell me what's your profile like, blah blah blah, and then I'll just tell you what can happen, what you should do. Yeah. Okay. So, Emmanuel, you're asking, is it necessary to add webinars, summits, short courses to CV? Yeah, yeah, you can add it. I mean, especially when they are related to your field, when it's something that has actually benefited you, you can actually add it. It's you can do it. That's just a summary. You can do it, especially when it's something that is related to your field, something that has benefited you. Yes, you can add it. You can add it. All right, all right. Ayobanjo, I'm stylishly waiting for you. Do you still want to talk? And then let me give you the advice you're talking about. Uh, okay, so Emmanuel, you are saying you plan joining your wife as F2. Okay, so let me talk on that F2 dependent. Yes, you can join your spouse as F2. That's very possible. People have done it. I know folks who have done it. I know people who are just arriving, who just came in on F2. And then can you study with F2? Ordinarily, you can't study as you ought to. Okay, but there's a caveat to that. There is an exception to that because F2 can, maybe I should do a video. Let me note it down. I should probably do a video on what F2 can study, what F2 can do. I should do a video on that. Let me just note it down so that I won't forget. So, but let me talk about it because for your sake, yeah, it's very possible for F2 to do something, but you won't be able to do full course. For example, international students are expected to do at least 9 credit units. F2, you can't do that, okay? Because F2 can do vocational studies, blah, 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 stuff that are not regarded as full course. Okay, F2 can do that. But again, even in a university proper setting, they can do it, but they cannot carry full course. They cannot do 9 credit units. And of course, for many schools, you want to do at least 9 credit units. That's the way, 3 courses. So that's a challenge for F2 on its own. So what people do is eventually they get the admission and they change to F1. Okay, they change to F1, then they are be able to study. So there are ways you can do that. Some people, I made a video last week or 2 weeks, it should be last week, on F2 to F1. If I made one last year, how to change from F2 to F1. You can search for it on this channel. So what you can do is in changing from F2 to F1, you can either decide to stay here in the US. You can decide to stay in the US and change it with USCIS. It takes a longer time. Or you go to a neighboring country like, let's say, Mexico, Canada, Dominican Republic. People are going to Dominican Republic now. Now, if your visa is still active, you can go to Mexico and Dominican Republic easily, okay, without any issue of trying to apply for their visa and the like easily. Well, so far your visa is still active. If you are going to go to Canada to change it, to do an interview to change F2 to F1, you have to apply for Canadian visa too. Okay, but if you are going to Mexico, Dominican Republic, you don't really need to go through all those stress. All you just need to do is apply for visa interview there, and then apply, and then go there, and then attend the interview, and then once you are granted, you come back into the US. Okay, I still know someone who came back from Dominican Republic recently, did change from F2 to F1. Now the person is able to study. Okay, I know someone who went to Mexico sometimes. In fact, not one, 2 or 3 people, maybe more than 3, who went to Mexico and changed from F2 to F1. Okay, so that's very, very, very possible. But of course, when you are doing your interview, you have to interview. You are not going to tell the viewer and say, "Oh, um, I'll be studying when I get there, so I will also change from F2 to F1." You are disqualified automatically if you say that. You want to attend the interview according to what is required of the status which you are applying with or for. That's the way you address the interview. So you state it beautifully, beautifully, like you are to stay with your spouse, you are being with your spouse. I mean, assist your spouse, support your spouse, everything about your spouse, because your spouse is the major holder of that visa category. I hope that answered your question, Emmanuel. Okay, Ayobanjo, you're saying chemical engineering 3.69. I believe 3.69 out of 5 is 2-1. hoping for a direct PhD because of funding. You have CV already, no GRE yet. Okay, so Ayobanjo, basically you have a good, at least an okay profile. So what I would say is this: search through schools that give funding for you, search for them, search through those schools, try to identify what they want from you, their requirement, GRE or no GRE, blah blah blah. And then um also apply to those even who do masters too. Okay, it doesn't have to be that all you have to apply for will be PhD only. Apply for both PhD and masters depending on the school or what they offer. Many people who do masters eventually just tick, maybe eventually after the end of 1 or 2 years, they just tick one box to say they will continue with their PhD. That's what most people do. So even if it's a master's you're coming in, if the school has a PhD program, people just tick a box and in fact, your advisor will be asking you, do you want to continue? Like that's the way it works here. Okay, so I would say when you're applying Banjo, apply to PhD programs, MSc programs, do all these things together. It's good to spread your options to cast your, the Bible says cast your bread upon many waters, you find it after many days, all those stuff. So it's good to do something like that. And if many of the schools require GRE, I'll just say write GRE if they require. But if all the schools you found are not requesting for GRE, then it's not needed. Then you don't need it. Just apply. Just make sure you spread your wings properly. And I-20, Emmanuel, you're asking what is I-20? I-20 is just a document that the school gives you after you've been given admission. I-20 will state the course you are intending to study. It will state not just the school giving you, it's from the Department of Homeland Security, actually. So it will state that you are in the US to study so course, and it will state the years in which you are in the US for, from so date to so date, when you should leave the US as a student. And then this is the document you take to the embassy that you use to and show them that, oh, this is me, I'm going to the US. That's a proof that you are going to the US. It's a legal document that even authenticates your stay in the US for the duration it says. So your visa, even after you get your visa is not even what keeps you in the US, it's your I-20. Let me note it down. It seems there are people who would love to know what I-20 is. Let me note it down so that I can uh, do a proper video on it later. Because some people even think once their visa expires and then they start saying, oh, I must renew my visa so that they don't deport me from the US, this and that. No, no, no. Your visa is just for you to be able to come into the US. Once you're in the US, your I-20 is your legal document that allows you to stay in the US. Okay, so it originates from the Department of Homeland Security based on the details your school gives them. Okay, so your I-20 states how long you can stay, how long you should stay, what status you are on. So, for example, someone who is on F1 status, your I-20 will carry F1 status. Someone who is on F2 status, your I-20 will carry F2 status. And it's for students, basically. It's for students, basically. I hope that answered your questions, Emmanuel. I wanted to say something else about I-20. I forgot, but that's fine. All right, all right. There are two Emmanuels already. Okay, so Emmanuel, two, you are saying you watch my videos, they are very informative. Thank you. If you find them informative, share it with people, let them subscribe, let them watch to let them benefit from what I've been sharing. When I see people watch my video, it gives me more motivation to do more videos. Okay, but when I don't see people watch it, I'm asking my question: Do these people even do they even gain anything from all I've been saying? All right, Isaac, you're saying how will it be easy? And then, yeah, one thing about your I-22, your I-20 states the funding you have. Your I-20 states where your funding is coming from. If your funding is coming from the school, your I-20 will state that. If your funding is coming from personal finance, your I-20 will state that. If your funding is coming from wherever your funding is coming from a friend, the I-20 will state that. Okay. So Isaac, you're asking how will it be easy to cope If you're in a school with 8K deficit required to get I-20, but pay only about 3K. Sorry, Isaac, I didn't get the question. I didn't get the question. Can you rephrase the question? But I want to think what you're asking is this, that um in your school you have a deficit of 8K to get your I-20, and then you pay 3K for health insurance, and then you have 10K stipends per year. What I would say is this: if that is the type of funding you have and that's the only thing you have, take it. Okay, you will cope. They are giving you something, they are giving you money. Okay, and you have 8K deficit. Let's just say what you have left is money for your house rent or whatever, or to eat or something. That's you will easily sort that once you land there. If that is what you've been given, that's the only option, take it. But if you have better options, then go for the better options. But at least if you have that stipend of 10K per year, and depending on whether you have exhausted your 20 hours working opportunity or not, you can, if not, you can get a campus job that what do you call it now, that will pay, that will a campus job where you can earn money and then fund your living expenses. Okay. So it depends on what the situation is. I also ask, are they waiving the tuition for you totally? If they are waiving the tuition for you totally, oh come on, just take it. Just take it. That means they only require you to prove living expenses. That's what they are just requiring to prove. If they have taken care of the tuition, oh, just take it, especially if that's the only option you have. All right. Emmanuel One, we are saying thanks so much, sir. I greet you. Chinedu, I greet you. Good evening to you too. Good evening. Akinwale, Doctor, I really appreciate your effort. Your videos are informative. If the videos are informative, share it with friends. Share it with friends. Share it with friends. Tell them to subscribe. Those numbers encourage me. When I see those numbers, I get encouraged and I want to do more. All right. So, Pamela, you're asking, first question is about letter of recommendation. Who gets to upload the letter of recommend? Your recommender most times recommend uploads the letter. They give them a link where they click and then they're able to upload the letters of recommendation. In fact, some links have a what do you call it now? Um, a landing page where they can just type it in. They can type whatever they want to say about you in without uploading, but they can upload it too. So most times they're the one that upload. Okay. So Emmanuel, you are preparing for your I-20 F2 interview. Good, 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 good. Of course, don't quit your job yet before you go for F2 interview. Watch the video. I've done like 4 or 5 videos on F2 interviews. Um, what do you call it now? Handling different topics. So please go through those videos. All you want to do is to prove that you are a genuine husband to your wife, and then your presence is needed there. Okay, or that's all you want to prove. But I made lengthy videos on this. Please watch them. I've had testimonies on a lot of those videos. I've met people here who told me, I've watched your video on F2. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I have a lot of them, even here in Tallahassee. No, I'll just go for an event and they will be looking at me like, this face looks familiar. And then they will come to me like, are you so? I watch your video on F2, and then they will introduce the husband, they will do this and that. Sometimes there are even husbands that I know. I know one lady then, she was even arguing with the husband. This is what Mr. Sam said. The husband was saying, no, this is this. No, all those things. So please watch those videos. That's the point I'm trying to make, because they've been very, very impactful. But of course, don't quit your job before you go for the interview. You don't, because you are not sure of the results yet. Okay. You may want to say you are taking a leave from your job or something, depending on your type of job. All right, Emmanuel, you're asking again, do you pay money before you get to I-20? No, 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 no. However, I'm aware that there are some small schools now that ask people to pay some deposits before they give them I-20. But generally, you don't pay anything. You just show them the proof of funds That's all. If you are getting funding from the school, you just show them that you have funding from the school, they prove the letter, whatever. If you are paying yourself, you just show them your bank statement, bank account. If you are, I mean, whatever, but you don't pay money. You don't pay money. You don't pay money. All right, all right. It seems these are the questions we have. If these are the questions, I think this is would be a nice time to stop the stream. I want to say thank you so much to everyone who has joined in. God bless you, really good. I really appreciate. Please share this video if you think it's beautiful, if you think it's necessary, if you think it's what people should listen to. And then please subscribe if you have not subscribed. I've not been saying that, so people have not been subscribing. So subscribe if you have not subscribed. But Milena, you're asking. The challenge is that one of your recommender isn't willing to help upload to the multiple schools that you will be applying to. So, I mean, there's no way you can upload Milena because they will send the link to your lecturer's email, except the lecturer gives you his email address or password or something, but they will be sending it to your lecturer. Okay, if that person does not want to do it, then maybe you just find another person. Okay, because they will be sending it directly to the email of the lecturer that you give, and you won't give your own email. That will be fraudulent. You don't put your own email there and then upload it yourself, because it won't be a professional email in the first place. And some schools will even have to investigate the email. If it's not an institutional email, they will try to investigate and be sure that this is the email of the professor. Okay, they will have to try to be sure, and there are different ways one can do it. If a professor claims that he or she does not have an institutional email, the Gmail he or she uses will be on research papers, right? So they will go through research papers, they may find it, they will find official documents and the likes, because they will be sending that link to your professor's email. That's it. That's why you are not able to upload it. Except your professor says to you, oh, Pamilere, help me to upload this thing, and your professor gives you his email address and his password. Okay. So if the person, and see, it's good that your what do you call it? It's good that your supervisor is part of it, but if your supervisor is not able to write for you, honestly, you just look for other people. Okay, but try explain this situation to your supervisor, but it's not compulsory your supervisor writes. This is what you can do. One of the things I did during my time was to segregate and say, oh, this person will help me with 3, this person will help me with 2, this person, so that I don't overburden one single person. Because if I'm applying to 10 schools, I don't want to overburden one person and ask the person to do 10 schools. Okay, so I can let the person say this person can do 3 for me, this person can do 2 schools, this person can do 3 schools, this person can do this number of schools, and I what's the word now, segmented it that way. Okay, so that I don't overburden one person. That was one of the things I did. So don't overburden your supervisor. So if your supervisor is able to do 3, that's fine. Give it to the other persons, to other people too. Your supervisor doesn't have to appear the um, in all the schools. Okay, so I think that's an advice I'll give you. All right, all right, all right. Okay, Obanjo is telling you that pray, send it, commit them into God's hands. Beautiful. Chinedu, you're asking, what can you thank me? Yeah, thank you too. What can make one's review to usually delay? So you applied for first semester and not gotten the decision yet, even 4 months into. Oh, they've probably forgotten about you. Chinedu, they've probably forgotten about you. I mean, if you apply for fall and the fall semester has started, they've chosen those who they want to choose and probably forgot to get back to those that they are not choosing. One option you can do is write to them and ask about the status of your admission, of your application. That's one of the things you can do. I've done that before when the school was delaying so long, and I wrote to them like, "What's going on? I've not heard from you guys, this and that." And then just almost immediately, maybe a day after or same day, they just sent me a rejection email. So some schools, it happens that way. All right. Okay, thank you guys for joining in. God bless you. Really good. It's 40 minutes in already. So don't forget, subscribe if you have not subscribed, and share this video. Share it around to those you think should need it. Please share it. God bless you. Really good.